Get a discount on your home in Toronto. Throughout the last year, home prices fell because of several changes to the key interest rate. So now people buying in today's market are getting this inflation correction discount. And it might seem like a weird way to think about the market at first, especially since Toronto real estate is still expensive. But after 1 year, certain areas in the city are selling at prices well below the average compared to last year. The question is, how long will this last? Prices have been slowly going back up in some areas with signs of recovery, which means that the gap between last year's prices and this year's is getting smaller as time goes by. And this makes sense because buyers are likely to get back into the market after taking a break from their home search when interest rates went up and also as we make our way into the spring market. The biggest question is, which market areas are down the most? It's easy to say that the Toronto real estate market has not recovered since prices are still down across the map, but we don't know where exactly the biggest price drop is. So in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly which areas are down the most, and these are the areas where you're getting the best deal compared to last year's prices, and knowing this is going to help you decide where you might consider moving to. Also, keep watching until the very end of this video because I'm also going to share with you where in the city are we likely to see prices bounce back first before any other area, which is going to help you if you plan on moving into the area or if you already live in that area and you're thinking of making a move. So if you're someone who's been waiting for the right time, this video is here to help you along your journey, so be sure to watch until the very end. And before getting into it, welcome to the channel. If this is your first time watching, my name is Fred Tam and I bring you the best real estate tips and latest market updates to help you reach your real estate goals. You're here because you know it's important to stay ahead of the game by knowing exactly what's happening in the real estate market, especially if you're actively looking to buy or sell your home. And if you've got a quick second, don't forget to hit subscribe. Okay, so now to answer the question of where are the biggest price drops in Toronto, we're only looking at condo apartment buildings in the city, and because March last year was when we saw the first of many interest rate hikes, it just made sense to compare February this year to February of last year. And just to catch you up with what's been happening over the last 11 months, the Bank of Canada increased the key interest rate 8 times since March last year, with another one possibly coming next month. This caused home values to gradually decline throughout the year due to the rising cost of borrowing through mortgages with higher interest rates. And you can also watch the video in the card up top to get a better idea of the full impact of interest rates on the real estate market. For a lot of people, a drop in home prices became a time to get a deal. Homes kept on getting less expensive compared to the previous months, and in many cases, homeowners were struggling to sell their properties sitting on the market for long periods of time, almost like when the pandemic first hit Canada. So why not take advantage of the situation? Get into the real estate market when it's down, which I gotta say was a really smart idea. But luckily for anyone buying a home today, the opportunity is still there. And just so you know, there are 35 different areas in Toronto, and in this video, I'm going to focus on the top 5 areas that are going to give you the biggest discount on a condo today compared to the last year. And if you're curious about a specific area, just let me know in the comments below, and I'll be sure to respond to you with what you need to know. So, coming in at number 5 is in the west end of Toronto at Kipling and Dixon Road. In this area, the average price in February last year was $561,000. A 20% down payment back then meant someone would have to save about $112,000 to get an uninsured mortgage for the best possible mortgage rate. But now today, the same area has condos going for 24% less compared to last year, with an average price today of $425,000. That down payment just dropped to $85,000, letting you keep the difference of $27,000 in your pocket. But interest rates are higher now, so are your savings just going directly to the bank anyway because of higher interest payments? And this got me thinking, was it better to buy last year or this year if we're considering interest payments only? So I compared the typical mortgage payments from last February to this year, and the difference is about $3,000 in extra interest after owning your home for 1 year. $3,000 in 1 year is a lot of money that's not going towards the principal of your own home. But remember, you've also got about $27,000 back in your pocket by buying this year instead of last year. Now, a 24% discount is already pretty awesome, but being at the bottom of the list means that the next 4 areas saw even further price drops. Next on the list at number 4 is in Scarborough, in the area that's actually quite popular. One of my all-time favorite patty restaurants is in the neighborhood, if you know Patty King. It's around Scarborough Town Center, and the condos in the area were selling for an average price of $702,000. And this isn't so bad considering Treb's latest numbers show that condos in Toronto are about $738,000 on average. Today you can get a condo in the same area at a discount of 25% for $525,000. $100,000. That's a quarter of property value that just vanished in 1 year. Yet the area hasn't changed. What's changed are the factors that impacted affordability, because as it became more difficult to get a mortgage or any other type of lending from financial institutions, condo prices had to come down. And by the way, if you're gaining value from this video, give it a like and also consider subscribing to the channel. New videos come out every single week. Now at number 3, we're back in the West End, this time at Jane and Scarlett Road. And I know what you're thinking, Jane Street, like that Jane Street? Believe it or not, you would have been looking at an average price of $714,000 in this area last year, which might surprise some of you. But even more surprising is that right now you're looking at a discount of 27% since the average price also came down to $525,000. And honestly, the area isn't so bad. It's along the Humber River, and there's even a private country club that's just down the street. Work on your tennis swing there, or even get a round of golf in. Okay, so now you're thinking condo prices are only down in eastern and western parts of the city, but number 2 is in a central part of Toronto that's known for its luxury. In Rosedale, condos were about $1,365,000. Prices have fallen in the area by 30% to less than $1 million. For $960,000, you can live in a condo that's just a few blocks away from Yorkville. And a lot of these condos were built 20 to 30 years ago, which is something you should consider when buying your next condo to live in, or even as an investment, because property age does play a part in the overall price. Older buildings tend to have higher maintenance fees that have likely gone up a few percent each year, and in general, the units and building itself just might not have the same modern finishes and technology that newer condo buildings offer and set the bar as a higher standard. Alright, so we're at the number 1 spot on the list now. The area in Toronto that has the highest price drops ever since the rates have gone back up is back in Scarborough, but further east at McCowan and Eglinton. Condos were going for $676,000 last year, and today they're $441,000. They've come down 35% in this area, the highest drop we're still seeing in the Toronto condo market. Okay, so now we know where prices have fallen the most in Toronto, but where are they likely to go back up before any other area in the city? If you were thinking downtown Toronto, then you guessed right. Last year for condos in the downtown core, which mostly included the areas west of Dundas all the way to the lake, the average price was $850,000. This year they're hovering around $794,000, which is only a 7% difference. It actually wouldn't surprise me if property investors started to look into the area a bit more again. Downtown Toronto has always been a popular area for investors for several reasons. Population levels are high, lots of jobs are downtown, and people travel to the city from all across the GTA, including other regions of Ontario, just to get to the area, whether it's by GO train or the subway or even driving into the city, which is why the DVP is known as the Don Valley parking lot. So it might actually make sense for investors because if prices are still down, even if it's just 7%, rents are up 33% in just 2 years. So now we know that areas in the east and west ends of Toronto are seeing the biggest price drops compared to last year, and that downtown Toronto is probably the first area to recover, which could happen as early as this year, especially if the Bank of Canada decides to hold the interest rate or even bring it down. And to stay updated on what's happening with the real estate market, subscribe to the channel for weekly updates and show some support by giving this video a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.